Hi guys, Jay Smith here. Welcome to the AskGolfNut channel and welcome to the best old v new out of the entire Titleist range. I've been looking forward to doing the T200 versus the T250. Titleist said that they have changed the T200 so much that it deserved another name. I think if you've seen the T200 video that I did, it didn't do well, I must admit. There were certain things that it did okay. In the forgiveness side of things, it was terrible. So I was looking forward to getting hold of the 2025 version, hoping, fingers crossed, everything crossed, arms, legs and everything, that Titleist had reworked the iron because it needed to, and there is some quite distinguishable differences between the two. We'll look at these in looks, feel, performance and forgiveness, and then we'll do a conclusion at the end. Looks and feel wise, this is the subjective thing, this is my personal opinion. So ignore me completely, it's just what I think. Looks wise, they basically look very, very similar. The T200 is slightly different to the T250, as in they've changed the design very, very slightly, but you can still see it is a evolution of the old. I do quite like the look of a T250, and it is a player's distance iron. Remember, player's distance irons, generally speaking, aren't there for being very forgiving. They are there for being fast and a little bit more helpful when it comes to launch factor potentially, but definitely fast. And then it blends in with, say, the T100 or the T150, whichever the player is using in their lower irons, then they're blending into something like the T200 and now the T250. That's its job. Feel wise, they are loud. And when I mean loud, when I went to use 620 CB and then the T100 and T150, I was surprised that they felt a little bit more firmer than I was expecting. Go to a T200 and a T250 and wow, they are noisy. I don't care what Titleist is saying when it comes to anything to do with the acoustics behind the new one over the old. They basically sound exactly the same. They are noisy. And if you are going between a T250 and a T350 blend, work brilliantly together. Just beware, if you are going from a T100 or a T150 and then moving into a T250 at the higher end of the bag, or whatever it be, for whatever reason you need, just expect and understand that there will absolutely be a sound difference between one side of your bag and the other. Let's have a look at the forgiveness side before we look at the performance metrics. So on the screen there, you can see, if I can get them all on the screen, I will do. We have got full reviews of these on my channel. I won't go into all the tech and stuff like that. If you want all the full stuff, you can go on my video listing and pick it from there. But you can see, this is visual. This is heat maps. So heat maps are retention of ball speed graphics. So when you don't hit the middle, how much ball speed do you lose? And effectively it's this. The bigger the green blob, the better. As you can see, the 2023 model is rather poor. Go to the 2025 model and you put that as a comparison between the 2023, wowzers. It is quite considerably better on the 2025. When the 2023 was done, it wasn't very good. It had a very small green spot. You lost a lot of distance when you don't hit the middle. But again, it goes back to the whole idea of what these golf clubs are designed for. These are designed for golfers who want more distance, players that want more distance, not players who want more forgiveness. Remember that that's not the idea of a player's distance iron. The key is in the name. Now this is where you can see from the graphic there, the heel is just as bad. I will say this, guys, if you are hitting golf shots out the heel, please don't. Just please don't, because if you are a biased heel player and then you have a slightly more heely day, you haven't got to go too far before you interact with the hosel, and that is really bad for your score. So if you can, hit it low, hit it toe, all the areas where this new T250 just excels over the old one. Don't worry about the heel, because you should be hitting it there anyway. Let's go have a look at the performance metrics now, where we have a look at the forgiveness side of things, yes, but also how these two golf clubs do when it comes to understanding the differences in face speed, launch factors and stuff like that. This is all from my website, www.askgolfnut.com, where we have about 100 or so irons to date at the moment, currently, where we can compare all of the different metrics when it comes to its forgiveness of different parts, toe, heel and low, and no difference to the face speeds, etc. All of these are available at different tiers for people to see. So you can see you've got the red is the 2023 T200 against the cyan version of the Titleist T250 2025. Let's go toe first, shall we? Yeah, it's slightly better, shall we say, than the 2023 by some considerable margin. When it goes to the heel, going back to where you shouldn't be hitting off the heel, but if you are, actually the old T200, which didn't do well anyway, is actually slightly better. And when it comes off to the low part of the face, the 2025 just does such a much better job than the old T200. Toe and low, it's just really very, very good compared to the old. Forgiveness on average, if you take all of the 3 different locations and average them all out, it is possibly one of the biggest jumps in performance from forgiveness or consistency of ball speed point of view that I have seen in a long while. I don't think I have been this surprised on one iron, the change in one iron, since the Cobra Forge Tech and the Tech X and their new versions now. This T200, T250, wow. Huge differences. Now we get into the performance side of things, the performance metrics where this is all loft for loft adjusted. Okay, you haven't got to do too much loft for loft adjustments when effectively they're the same loft anyway, but every single comparison that you see on the radar chart is basically loft for loft adjusted. And you can see the difference between the 2 golf clubs and how they work. Titleist have changed the T250 away from the T200. The T200 was very, very fast off the middle. Very fast off the middle. Just terrible everywhere else. They have taken away some of that speed from the middle to try and gain some consistency. Now, we've seen this done by other manufacturers in the past when they've changed from a golf club of the past to the new version, trying to hit a different target market, or at least listen to the people that have used their old piece of equipment and have changed it to try and make it better. So it's not as fast from the middle as the old one, but it is far more consistent because of it. If you go face spin rate, no different to the old and the new. The old one spun the golf ball much, much more. Now this is not either good, not bad. It's this side of the radar chart, which is very much so golfer specific. If you are a very slow swing speed golfer, 70 miles an hour or so, we'll have a look at those 3 different swing speeds in a sec. Then generally speaking, you're going to need as much face speed as you possibly can do and as much launch factor as you possibly can do to try and keep that golf ball in the air and going. When you're looking at a golfer which has a slightly faster swing speed, a medium to very fast swing speed at least, they don't need face speed because they get their distance from their raw clubhead speed alone, and generally speaking they may not want a golf club that goes to the moon when they hit it. Different golfers will want different things. And so if you go to the launch factor, you can see there that the Titleist T250 2025 version launches the golf ball slightly better than that of the older T200. There's not much difference between these two. If you're going to be looking at a golf club that's not going to launch the golf ball very well, you want it to launch it lower, loft for loft adjusted, then I wouldn't go for the T200 or the T250 because they both do a very good job of getting the golf ball going up in the air. So to the self-fit tool, this is a great tool on the gold tier from the website www.askgolfnut.com, where the website members can input their own swing dynamics. You've got the clubhead speed, you can see it there, it's already set to 70 miles an hour. You've got angle attack at -2 and shaft lean at -2. Angle attack is how much you come down into the golf ball. Some hit down more than others and some even hit up. You can change the slider to suit what your swing dynamics is. No different to shaft lean or D-loft. How much do you take off loft, or some golfers even add loft during impact, and so again you can change the sliders. That will change all the numbers, that will change the trajectories, and so you can see which golf clubs will work for you. But we've got the T200 in cyan and we've got the T250, the 2025 version, in yellow. Both of the 7 irons selected. Let's see how well they do. Max carry of 129 yards is to 126. So the old T200 is longer than the brand new T250. That face speed wins out. Remember, the T200 has a massively fast face from the middle. This is all middle shots. As soon as you start deviating around the face though, you can see what happens. So you can see we've got a 3-yard gain at 70 miles an hour. from the old to the new. However, this is where it gets a little bit interesting, because you've got 129 yards to 121 in the average carry. Average carry is when you don't hit the middle, you have an average miss around about 12.5 mil, or half an inch away from where you should do. How much distance comes off? And we're looking at 8 yards in the average carry of the T200 as opposed to 4 of the brand new T250. I cannot say how good that is compared to the old to the new. If you're looking at consistency of distance, you hit your shot, you hit it slightly, and then you're looking at the difference in distance between the two. You want those distances to be as close as you possibly can do for consistency. You know how far you hit your 7-iron, you're trying to hit that distance, you hit it slightly. Any golf club which can be closer to that max carry is going to win hands down, and it does. It's better by twice the amount. The dispersion circle is half the size. The T250 is a much better golf club. If you go peak height 23, 23, no difference whatsoever. Descent angles, no difference. Exactly, they're identical. Now, 70 miles an hour, would I have a 5-iron? Absolutely not. Would I have a 6-iron? Possibly, but bear in mind when you are going into a 6-iron, shaft lengths get a bit longer. It becomes more difficult. You strike the middle. I would say 6-iron's the absolute last iron. After that, hybrid, high loft to fairway wood, something like that. 80 miles an hour now, and we got max carry of 150 yards to 148. So again, the old golf club goes longer than that of the new. We are looking still at the 8 yards or so with the average carry, and then the 5 yards, but again, that's the difference between rounding. That could be, well, 4.5 going to 5, but a very small amount. You can see by the trajectories underneath, the difference is really between the two. You can see that the solid blue line of the T200 and the average miss is the wrong side of the average miss of the shorter T250. The T200 is not very good whatsoever. 31 yards in the air to 31 yard difference, or effectively that could be half a yard, just rounded. And then 48 degrees to 47.9. Again, no difference whatsoever. But if you were looking at pure, which one wins? You would have to say out of the middle, the old one is still slightly better. We're getting the same descent angles for slightly further distance. It is 3 yards. However, this is why we have the average carry, etc. in there, because it is vitally important that people understand they don't hit the middle every single time. And when you do, you are going to be penalised massively on the old T200. Go 90 miles an hour, the full-on 90 miles an hour. You haven't got to worry about descent angles or anything because you're swinging so fast. But max carry of the old one's 167 to 166. There's only a yard or so difference between them. Let's say 2 yards, no real difference whatsoever. You've got 159 to 167, so there's your 8 yards, and there's got 5 yards or so difference in the average carry between the 2025 version, the T250. So again, it's just better, hands down. Same peak height, no difference, 39, 39, and within 0.2 of a degree, there's no difference in descent angle at all. And going down to a 4-iron, as you can see there, makes no difference whatsoever because, well, 47 degrees a piece at 90 miles an hour, you've got speed and you get descent angle and peak height from your speed line. Now this is set at -2, -2. Generally speaking, at 70 miles an hour, -2 is quite optimal. If you're going to go into a 90 mile an hour swing speed, -2 is quite picky, and it will promote as much in the way of peak height and descent angle as possible with not as much distance. Now I deliver slightly differently. I am twice the amount on the angle attack. I'm about 4 degrees down, and I shaft lean about 5 degrees. So I am a lot further. I hit the golf ball further than what you see on the screen there, but I don't then generate the potential for as much peak height and descent angle, but I'm swinging at 90 something miles an hour. So I haven't got to worry about descent angle when you've got speed on your side. Let's do the conclusion between the old T200 2023 against the new T250 2025. Looks, feel, performance, and forgiveness. Let's do the subjectivity first. Up to you. You name it how you want to win out of the two. I personally can't really tell a winner between the. There's very, very similar looking irons. Possibly prefer the looks of the T250 slightly, but that's about it. Feel-wise, they feel exactly the same. They are both just loud. Like, loud. I cannot explain how much loud these are. I'm indoors, and I'm in a studio of where I can critique the sound quite easily and very easily. And I can say one thing, I cannot tell a difference. These two irons are loud. When it comes to performance though, the T250 just works exceptionally well. The big win though, the massive win, is in forgiveness. Titleist, you have done an amazing job, an absolutely amazing job on the T250 over that of the T200. Now the T200 was, everyone song and danced over that iron. They made this massive thing about how good the T200 was. When I tested it, I thought it was all right. It done everything when it comes to its performance, done all right. Its forgiveness though was really quite bad. When you look at the T250 though, apart from the heel, which still doesn't do very well on, but the rest of the metrics, it is just amazing. The toe forgiveness, the low forgiveness, just well done Titleist for making a really, really well needed update to that of the T200. So would you, if you've got T200s, would you think about dumping them off and upgrading to the T250s? You're not going to see a difference in performance when it comes to the launch monitor, guys. Just make sure you keep track of your miss hits and how well they do. Hope you liked the video. If you did, go and give it a big old thumbs up. Hit that like button. YouTube like, so do I. Down there is a subscribe button. It's the best button of the lot because it's free and it's great for the channel if you could subscribe. So thank you. Next to that one is a bell icon. That's a notification bell. If you click that one, that'll let you know next time I upload another video. Hope you're well. We'll see you again soon.